Well, the next item is the Success Foundation update. Dr. Pilch.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. So we are fortunate that we have our very own foundation, the Success Foundation for District 6 schools. And this is the foundation for our school district. And we have with us this evening the Executive Director, Julie Hill, and the President of their board, Felicia Burke, and Rhonda Solis, one of our board members, is also on the Success Foundation board. But we're pleased to welcome them tonight and to have them provide an update for you all and for the community around their work here in District 6. Without their work, we would be with far fewer devices in our classrooms, and our blended learning work would be much more behind than it already is without the work of the Success Foundation and the fundraising efforts that they have put in for District 6. So I'm happy to welcome Julie Hill and Felicia.
Thank you very much for having us tonight. I will start also just on a personal level, and I also want to speak on behalf of our board. We are extremely disappointed about what happened last week, but we will continue to fight with you. I think we learned a lot as well, and we will do more the next time around. So thank you for the opportunity, Mayor Norton, as well, to be involved in that, and we will continue to fight with you because our kids deserve it. So in the meantime, we know we have more work to do. We do want to tell you about some great things that have happened this year. Again, I am in I think I just finished my 6th month as executive director, so I can take credit for none of this. But some really great things going on.
Stop counting.
That's right. All right. I know. I'm like, I got to get more done. I got to get more done. And but some really great things again that are going on with the Success Foundation. To date, we have raised $42,000 more than we did last year, so we are sitting at $237,766, so that is a great improvement. That does include a $25,000 installment that we've received on a grant that we partnered with the district on through the Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, which is supporting underrepresented Latino youth in the Greeley-Evans School District to go to both Ames and UNC, so we're proud and hope that we can do more of that in the future on those grants. But had a great breakfast in April. Raised almost $110,000 in one morning, so that was amazing. We had another great Ride for Success this year. We grossed almost $45,000 and had 355 riders there, with 100 coming from the school district. And I want to give a special recognition to our employees through our Thrive on 5 campaign. We've raised almost $30,000 this year in our Thrive on 5 campaign, which is almost double what we raised last year. So I think that's amazing in my short time here. And maybe that's why it's so disappointing. What has happened is the people I've been able to work with and the teachers you see, you aren't going to find a more dedicated group of people. And then when you ask them to give and you ask them to ride, they're the first ones there. So we're just I feel very lucky, and I know our board feels the same way, that we get to work with all of you and our staff and teachers every day. So the projects we supported this year, very excited. We were able to help the blended learning implementation in 6 of our elementary schools. We funded 2 of the 6. And that was Scott Elementary and Madison Elementary. And we did provide funding for the devices, the charging carts, the headphones, and then we were able to provide the digital content for the 491 students involved at those 2 schools. We also were able to send 5 of the 6 elementary principals to the Blended Learning Symposium recently in San Antonio. It was offered to all 6. 1 could not go, so we would have funded the 6th. We weren't excluding them, but think that that's an important piece also in the implementation of blended learning, and we hope to be able to do more of that next year. We also, again, did support and endorse the passing of ballot measure 3A, and we will continue to fight and have more money for that in future, for future endeavors. So I think for us coming up, I'll let Felicia say if I've forgotten anything here, but one of our main things I think for 2017 is awareness. We're still a fairly new organization. Anything you can do to help us spread the word, although we have supported projects, that's not something, we hope to expand as we grow. So we are your foundation, and we want to do more. We want to support the kids here because they deserve it. We feel we have a huge opportunity in the area of grants, so that is something that we're really going to focus on in 2017, as well as our individual donor meetings, asking for more from our community members. do have a couple of dates for you, if you will go ahead and put these on your calendar. Our 7th annual Success for Our Kids breakfast will be again at Northridge High School the morning of April 11th. We have also just put on the calendar our education celebration, which we're always happy to co-sponsor with the Chamber of Commerce, and that will be April 25th, and that's where we recognize our teachers and principals and classified staff, as well as our grant recipients for the year. And then we have already, you can start riding your bikes, Dr. Pilch. I know you're going to do the 25-mile next year, but our 4th annual Ride for Success will be September 30th of 2017. One other thing I didn't mention is we did fund 11 21st century grants this last year for almost $16,000. And again, with that Thrive on 5 money being earmarked for that, we will be able to give a lot more of those grants this year. And that application will be out to our teachers and schools by the end of the month. So, and we will move forward. Again, we have a lot more work to do. We celebrate our successes, but we have a lot of work to do, and I think we can provide more to the school district and to our students. So I will let Felicia, if she has anything to add.
I don't have much to add. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your support. We do have a lot of awareness to get out to the community after the 3A initiative. We've already been brainstorming of different ways on how we can bring the community together and get that awareness out about the needs and the wants and who the Success Foundation is and how we can help. Definitely like to be that pass-through for those donations. So thank you. Thanks for your support, and thanks for letting us be a part of this.
Well, before you try to escape, there may be comments or questions from this board. You never know about us.
Keep us on our toes.
Well, yeah, we want you to know this is a full-time job.
Felicia, answer all the hard questions.
That's right.
That seems
We'll throw
perfectly
Shambo
fair.
for it.
I certainly want to thank you. As I've heard from faculty and staff throughout the district, including our charter schools that have been given the opportunity to do new things because of monies available through the Success Foundation. And when people wonder, why don't throw money at other things, and that money is being spoken for. And you're seeing areas in the district that requires special responses, especially if we're going to innovate. And I just really want to thank you for them, if they don't already thank you a lot, for giving them the opportunity to try something new, bring a new approach to their classes, and it may be the jumping off point of something the district may well be able to engage in at some point because of your generosity. So we thank you for being our foundation, certainly. Dr. Richard.
Could you give an example of just 1 or 2 or 3 of the special projects, the grant projects that you funded?
Sure. I brought one of them. We actually visited one last week, although I was not able to go because I couldn't speak and I couldn't hear. I've had a terrible cold. But at Centennial Elementary, I'll just read the grant there was given to purchase electrical circuits to support their creating with circuits after school class. So that was really neat. I think they'd had that class before, but not all of them had a circuit kit that they could use personally, so they were having to work in small groups. And so this allowed a one-to-one with those kits for that after-school program. So that teacher was very grateful just because a lot more engagement with that program and hands-on experience for them. This last year, and I think we will continue this again, it was for arts innovation and innovative learning. So those were the focus areas. Another one was Google goggles. So again, I don't know if anybody's seen them. I'm going to try to get them for our breakfast because I think it'd be cool for everybody to put them on and see them. But we know, again, with all the technology out there, you can put these on and really, really see what you're learning. And so that was at Heath. They're planning to purchase, I think they're still in the process of that, but getting 220 pairs of Google goggles. So I thought that was a really neat project. Another project at Central was the students are building a marimba, at least one, and to purchase that type of an instrument would cost over $12,000, but through a variety of physics and theater and different students in the school, they're building this for about $1,500. So those are a couple of really neat projects, and I invite all of you. We're going to be visiting every single one of those projects this year because we're going to be putting out our success stories every month, so that is one thing. Hopefully you're getting our newsletters. If you're not, tell me, and we will get them to you. Please share them, but we're going to be visiting so that we can share that with our community, what amazing things our students are doing and our teachers.
Another one of our initiatives for awareness is inviting the community and some of our donors into the schools so they can see their money in action. And we've had one so far, but it was great feedback.
keep opening the doors. We appreciate that. Ms. Solis has a question or comment.
So I don't know if everyone knows, but this is a very hardworking board, and many of the people on the board are actually retired teachers, retired principals, community members, and they're people that believe in kids so much that even when they're retired, they go back to figure out how they can help them again. And I have been extremely impressed with this board and the relationship that we have with District 6. And I thank you for your dedication, for your passion for kiddos, and always wanting to help. So I just want to make sure that people understand how dedicated everyone on this board is and the hard work that they do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and I want to say, I just feel very lucky to be working with them. It is, we ask a lot, and I think they get tired of me asking, but a great group of people to work with, absolutely.
You picked a good cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night. The next item on our agenda is the School Safety and Security Assessment. Dr. Pilch.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. This is a report that comes to you per state statute, or just statute, rather. It comes to you per statute, that we provide you with an update on our security assessments at each of our buildings. And Director of Safety and Security, John Gates, is here tonight to present that for you.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch, and thank you all for a few minutes of your time this evening to provide you with just a brief update of school safety and security efforts that are ongoing in our district. Thanks to Dr. Pilch and our board, school safety and security has always been an important priority in our district, and our community should be continually reminded of our district's efforts in that regard to keep children safe. As a major component of the Safe Schools Act, the school safety, security, vulnerability assessments were completed between September 15th and October 17th of this year. The assessment is an 82-item evaluative tool designed to identify emerging and potential school safety and/or security issues, and it's conducted in 3 phases. 1 is the school, the building itself. 2 are the policies and procedures, and 3 relates to training and awareness. Category 1 evaluates the school infrastructure to include the interior and exterior of the site, ingress and egress, neighborhood factors, parking lot safety, playground safety, school bus zones, and signage and door security. The second category details policies and procedures to include visitor management policies, key and fob building access, medical records and storage of student medications, crisis management policies, and internal dialogue relative to severe weather, bomb threats, and building evacuation. And the third and final category is training and awareness, which deals primarily with crisis response training, sexual harassment, workplace violence, and lockdown procedures. As the graph in your packet indicates, our schools scored exceptionally well in all areas evaluated during the assessment. The numerical scores were well in excess of the 75% benchmark required by the state for accreditation consistent with the Safe Schools Act. This assessment is far more comprehensive than the legislation recommends and has been specifically tailored and evaluated each year to our district. The only issues, as you might recall from previous reports, that keep us from achieving 100% compliance in all schools is the lack of direct visual access between some of our front main office, the main office and the front entry doors, school roof access at a few sites, and as usual, we had a few lapses with exterior doors. These items, unlike the first 2, are easily corrected and were corrected on site. As a quick summary of safety security efforts outside of the vulnerability assessments, I want you to know that the audio-video entry systems that you all allowed the district to purchase some 4 years ago were installed and are operational at 22 sites, and I can assure you that they enhance overall school security substantially. Our district crisis response disaster and mitigation plan is updated annually and continues to be a pretty functional document. Our schools are conducting a minimum of 10 fire drills per year, consistent with the Uniform Fire Code, and we're holding school lockdown and tornado drills although surprisingly, there are no state or federal mandates in that regard. These drills provide an accurate predictor of performance in an actual emergency, so conducting the drills is not optional, at least on my watch, or Dr. Pilch's watch, and practicing the drills is of paramount importance to us. We continue to have anti-bullying curriculum in our elementary and middle schools. Allows us to implement immediate intervention and strategies and investigation into bullying. Bullying also often occurs on school buses. The district's entire bus fleet is equipped with digital cameras with audio capabilities, and there is seldom a day that goes by that we don't have occasion to look at those and either reward or correct inappropriate behavior on the bus. We're appreciative of that. Our district continues to utilize Safe to Tell, and we do receive numerous reports each year for follow-up. That number, if anybody at home is watching and wants to jot it down, is 1-877-542-SAFE, and that's on posters that are distributed to our schools and are hanging in our schools. In closing, I want to thank each of you on the board and Dr. Pilch for making school safety and security a priority in our district. I feel fully supported in my efforts to oversee that particular aspect of student learning. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I'm not sure that we've cooked up any at this moment. I know that you're close enough to the center of this building to make sure that the board hears if there are things that need to be considered or anticipated or changes that need to be made. We just rely on your professionalism to give us the high sign, Mr. Gates, and we appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next item is a resolution of the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6, a resolution of commitment to ensure education and opportunity. And normally, we would have one reader. I think the board is in a position to want to share this reading. I'll go ahead and ask for a motion at this time. We will read the document, discuss it, and then consider it. Motion?
I move that the Board of Education accept the resolution of commitment to ensure education and opportunity.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I'll read the first section. Whereas the mission of the Greeley-Evans School District 6 is to engage, empower, and inspire every student while providing students with a personalized, well-rounded, and excellent education in a safe, caring environment, and
Whereas any resident of the state of Colorado who has attained the age of 6 years and is under the age of 21 years is entitled to attend public school in the school district of which he or she is a resident, and
whereas Article 9, Section 15 of the Colorado Constitution vests control of instruction in the public schools in locally elected school boards, and
Whereas public schools and school districts in Colorado are subject to all federal and state laws and constitutional provisions prohibiting discrimination on the basis of disability, race, creed, color, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, national origin, religion, ancestry, or need for special education services, and
whereas no otherwise qualified student, employee, applicant for employment, or member of the public shall be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to unlawful discrimination under any district program or activity on the basis of race, color, national origin, ancestry, creed, religion, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, marital status, disability, or need for special education services, and
Whereas it is the goal of Greeley-Evans School District 6 to cultivate a safe and supportive learning environment for all, embracing our diversity, honoring and engaging all stakeholders, and promoting safety, and
Whereas the Greeley-Evans School District 6 Board of Education values and believes that students come first, that every child can achieve, that schools must be safe and healthy for students, and that diversity is an asset, and
whereas it is well founded that education is the key to success for individual students as well as communities, and whereas we recognize national events and the current climate may cause uncertainty for some in our community, and whereas as elected local school board directors, we are committed to provide safe learning and work environments where all members of the school community are treated with dignity and respect. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 publicly affirms our dedication to all students and families that we serve, employees of our schools, and members of our community. Further, we will continue to provide educational opportunity and support in a manner that promotes the rights and responsibilities of all individuals as set forth in state and federal constitutions, pertinent legislation, and applicable judicial interpretations. I would sign this with the permission of this board. Comments or questions? We've had the opportunity to discuss this a bit during our work session. Seeing no further comments, Ms. Barea, a roll call, please.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 7-0.
It will be my pleasure to sign that at a later date. At this point, we have run through our agenda, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you very much for your participation. This meeting is adjourned.